Welcome to The Storyteller. Tonight, we embark on a journey into the mind, the subtle patterns that govern our actions, our choices, and the invisible threads that connect us to each other. Tonight, we explore the psychology of human behavior. Imagine walking into a crowded room. People are laughing, talking, moving, reacting. Some draw your attention immediately. Others fade into the background. Have you ever wondered why? Why some individuals naturally inspire trust, curiosity, or admiration, while others struggle to make a lasting impression? The answer lies in human behavior, a science, an art, and a story, all rolled into one. The basics of human behavior. Human behavior is the product of biology, psychology, and environment. Neuroscientists tell us that our brains are constantly processing vast amounts of information, often without our conscious awareness. From the mirror neurons that allow us to empathize with others to the limbic system, which governs emotion, our actions are rarely random. Every smile, frown, gesture, or tone carries meaning. Psychologist B.F. Skinner proposed that much of human behavior is shaped by reinforcement and consequences. We repeat actions that bring rewards and avoid those that bring discomfort. Yet, modern research shows that humans are not just reactive. They are predictive, adaptive, and deeply social. Nature versus nurture. One of the oldest debates in psychology is nature versus nurture. Are we born with certain traits, or are we shaped by our environment? The answer is both. Studies show that personality has a genetic component, influencing traits like introversion, empathy, and risk tolerance. But social experiences, culture, and upbringing refine these tendencies. Take the example of Jean Piaget, the developmental psychologist. He observed how children learn, not only through direct experience, but also through social interaction. The way we behave, respond, and interpret others is molded by countless small interactions from childhood onwards. Research spotlight social behavior. Recent research highlights fascinating insights. A 2015 study in the Journal of Personality and Social Psychology found that individuals who practice active listening are perceived as significantly more trustworthy and likable. Neuroscientists at MIT discovered that our brains process social rewards similarly to tangible rewards. A compliment or a smile triggers the dopamine system, reinforcing prosaically behavior. Even subtle facial expressions or microexpressions can reveal hidden emotions. Paul Ekman's pioneering work shows that humans unconsciously detect these cues, shaping our interactions long before words are spoken. Real-life story, the power of understanding behavior. Consider Abraham Lincoln, often cited as one of the most socially intelligent leaders in history. Lincoln had the remarkable ability to read people. During meetings, he could sense tension, detect dishonesty, and adapt his approach. His understanding of human behavior allowed him to unite a divided nation, a testament to how psychology, empathy, and perception intertwine. Key takeaways for social intelligence. From this, we begin to see a pattern. 1. Human behavior is predictable yet complex. Understanding it requires observation and knowledge of psychology. 2. Emotions drive action. Recognizing emotional cues gives insight into motives. 3. Social interaction is learned. Practice, feedback, and reflection can enhance our behavioral intelligence. In the next chapter, we will explore the mechanics of social intelligence, how to decode body language, master verbal and nonverbal communication, and harness emotional awareness to connect deeply with others. This is The Storyteller, and the journey has only just begun. Chapter 2, The Mechanics of Social Intelligence. In the previous chapter, we explored the foundations of human behavior, the invisible threads guiding our actions and shaping our social world. Tonight, we take a step deeper. Tonight, we uncover the mechanics of social intelligence, the skills, strategies, and insights that allow some people to connect effortlessly while others struggle to be understood. Imagine this. You enter a room. Eyes meet, gestures are exchanged, and without a single word, you feel the mood, sense tension, or notice excitement. This is social intelligence at work, a subtle art grounded in psychology, biology, and experience. Understanding emotional intelligence. At the heart of social intelligence lies emotional intelligence, a concept popularized by psychologist Daniel Goleman. Emotional intelligence is the ability to recognize, understand, and manage our own emotions while perceiving and influencing the emotions of others. Goleman divides it into four core components. 1. Self awareness, knowing your emotional state, strengths, and weaknesses. 2. Self regulation, managing impulses, staying calm under pressure, and responding thoughtfully. 3. Social awareness, reading emotions in others, empathizing, and understanding social dynamics. 4. Relationship management, building trust, resolving conflicts, and inspiring collaboration. Research shows that emotional intelligence is a stronger predictor of career success and relationship satisfaction than IQ alone. A 2018 study published in Frontiers in Psychology found that individuals with high emotional intelligence were 43% more effective in collaborative work and leadership roles. The science of nonverbal communication. Words matter, but only partially. Studies suggest that over 70% of communication is nonverbal. Body language, facial expressions, posture, gestures, and even tone of voice transmit critical information. Consider microexpressions, subtle facial movements that reveal hidden emotions. Psychologist Paul Ekman identified 7 universal emotions: happiness, sadness, anger, fear, surprise, disgust, and contempt. By learning to detect these fleeting signals, one can understand feelings even when they are unspoken. For example, during high-stakes negotiations, skilled negotiators often pick up on microexpressions signaling doubt or hesitation. Responding to these cues can change the outcome dramatically. Research spotlight mirror neurons. Social intelligence is not just learned, it is wired into the brain. Neuroscientists discovered mirror neurons, specialized brain cells that fire both when we perform an action and when we observe someone else performing the same action. Mirror neurons allow us to empathize, imitate, and understand others instinctively. They are the biological foundation for empathy and social learning. In one experiment, participants watching someone experience pain showed activity in the same brain regions as if they were experiencing the pain themselves. Our brains are designed to connect. Real-life story, social intelligence in action. Consider Oprah Winfrey, a global icon of social influence. Oprah's mastery of social intelligence is legendary. She listens deeply, reads subtle cues, and responds with empathy. Guests on her show often describe feeling completely understood. Her emotional awareness, combined with keen observation and verbal skill, allowed her to build a media empire and touch millions of lives. Or think about Mahatma Gandhi, whose ability to perceive the emotions and needs of millions enabled him to lead a nation through nonviolent resistance. Social intelligence is not just about conversation. It is about influence, leadership, and connection, core skills of social intelligence. From research and history, we can identify essential skills. 1. Active listening, truly hearing what is said and what is unsaid. 2. Empathy, feeling what others feel without losing self-awareness. 3. Effective body language, aligning posture, gesture, and expressions with intended messages. 4. Clear communication, expressing ideas confidently and respectfully. 5. Conflict resolution, navigating disagreements without escalating tension. 6. Observation, noticing patterns, moods, and social dynamics. Even small improvements in these skills can dramatically enhance personal and professional relationships. Practical exercise, enhancing social awareness. Try this exercise. In your next conversation, focus entirely on the other person. Notice their facial expressions, tone, and pauses. Identify the emotion behind their words without judgment. Reflect on how your responses align with their feelings. Over time, this exercise rewires your brain, strengthens mirror neurons, and enhances empathic accuracy, the ability to predict and respond to others' emotions. Integrating emotional and social intelligence. The true power of social intelligence emerges when we integrate self-awareness, empathy, and observation. Imagine a leader who not only understands a technical aspect of a task, but also senses team morale, adapts communication to individuals, and inspires collaboration. Or a friend who knows when to listen silently, when to offer advice, and when to uplift through subtle gestures. Social intelligence transforms interactions from transactional to relational. It allows influence without manipulation and connection without pretense. Looking ahead, in the next chapter, we will explore the psychology of persuasion and influence, how humans are persuaded, how biases affect decisions, and how social intelligence can be ethically leveraged to inspire, motivate, and lead. This is The Storyteller, and our journey into human behavior and social mastery continues. Chapter 3: The Psychology of Influence and Persuasion. In the previous chapter, we unravel the mechanics of social intelligence, understanding how emotional awareness, observation, and nonverbal cues shape our relationships. Tonight, we venture further into the subtle yet powerful world of influence and persuasion. These are the forces that quietly guide decisions, shift opinions, and inspire action. Every day, each of us is influenced by friends, family, colleagues, media, advertisements, and even strangers. Yet few understand the science behind influence. It is neither magic nor manipulation. It is psychology in action, rooted deeply in human behavior. The science of persuasion. Psychologist Robert Cialdini, in his groundbreaking book Influence, The Psychology of Persuasion, identified 6 universal principles of influence. 1. Reciprocity. Humans feel compelled to return favors. When someone gives us something, even a small gesture, we are motivated to respond in kind. 2. Commitment and consistency. Once we commit to something, we strive to act consistently with that commitment, even if circumstances change. 3. Social proof. We look to others' actions to guide our own, especially when uncertain. If everyone is doing something, it must be right. 4. Authority. We tend to obey and trust figures of authority or expertise. Uniforms, titles, and perceived knowledge increase compliance. 5. Liking. We are more easily influenced by people we like, admire, or feel connected to. Shared values and warmth enhance persuasion. 6. Scarcity, limited availability, or rare opportunities increase perceived value and urgency. These principles are not tricks. They are reflections of deep-seated psychological tendencies. They operate unconsciously, shaping decisions before we even realize it. Real-life example: social proof in action. Consider the world of social media. A post with thousands of likes, shares, and comments becomes more influential simply because people perceive it as popular. Researchers call this the bandwagon effect. Our brains interpret popularity as validation, guiding behavior without deliberate thought. Another example comes from marketing studies. In one experiment, 2 groups of hotel guests received towel reuse cards. Group A received a simple environmental appeal. Group B was told, most guests in this room reuse their towels. Group B reused towels 26% more often. Social proof is subtle, yet immensely effective. Cognitive biases in decision-making. Influence is often magnified by cognitive biases, systematic errors in thinking that shape judgments and choices. Some key biases include confirmation bias, seeking information that aligns with existing beliefs; anchoring bias, relying heavily on the first piece of information when making decisions; loss aversion, fearing losses more than valuing equivalent gains; framing effect, decisions change depending on how options are presented. Understanding these biases allows us to persuade ethically and protect ourselves from being manipulated. Leaders, negotiators, and communicators who master these principles can craft messages that resonate deeply while maintaining integrity. Storytelling, the power of narrative. Stories are one of the most potent tools of influence. Humans are wired for narrative. Our brains respond to stories more than statistics. Neurologist Dr. Paul Zak discovered that compelling stories increase oxytocin production in the brain, fostering empathy, trust, and cooperation. Consider Martin Luther King Jr.'s "I Have a Dream" speech. Beyond rhetoric, the story painted a vision, invoked shared values, and inspired millions to act. Persuasion through narrative is not about manipulation. It is about connecting with emotions, values, and imagination. Practical exercise, ethical persuasion. To practice influence ethically: 1. Identify your audience's values and needs. 2. Frame your message in terms of benefits, not demands. 3. Use stories or examples to illustrate your points. 4. Observe reactions and adjust tone, pace, and approach. 5. Avoid manipulation. Persuasion should inform and inspire, not deceive. Over time, these habits build authentic influence, allowing you to guide, motivate, and lead without coercion. Research spotlight authority and trust. Studies consistently show that authority shapes compliance. A famous experiment by Stanley Milgram in the 1960s demonstrated that ordinary people would follow instructions to inflict perceived harm on others when directed by an authority figure. While ethically controversial, the study highlights the profound impact of perceived expertise on human behavior. Ethical communicators, however, leverage authority responsibly by sharing verified knowledge, demonstrating competence, and fostering trust. Influence becomes a tool for positive outcomes, education, collaboration, and empowerment, integrating social intelligence and persuasion. Social intelligence and influence are inseparable. One without the other risks manipulation or miscommunication. Consider a negotiator. Social awareness detects emotions and unspoken tensions. Persuasion principles guide proposals and responses. Storytelling communicates vision. Empathy ensures connections remain genuine. Mastery of both dimensions transforms ordinary interactions into meaningful exchanges. It allows leaders to inspire, educators to teach effectively, and individuals to connect deeply with others. Looking ahead, in the next chapter, we will explore the hidden drivers of human behavior, our unconscious motivations, desires, and fears that shape decisions and actions. Understanding these forces completes a picture of social mastery, allowing us to navigate the world with clarity, insight, and influence. This is a storyteller, and the journey into psychology of human behavior and social intelligence continues. Chapter 4: The Hidden Drivers of Human Behavior. In the previous chapter, we explored the psychology of influence and persuasion, understanding how humans are guided by principles such as reciprocity, social proof, authority, and narrative. Tonight, we take a deeper dive into what truly motivates human behavior, the hidden drivers that shape decisions, emotions, and social interactions. Humans are complex. On the surface, our actions may appear logical or deliberate, yet beneath conscious thought lies a vast landscape of unconscious motivations, instincts, and desires. Neuroscience and psychology reveal that understanding these hidden drivers is key to mastering social intelligence and human interaction. The role of the subconscious mind. The subconscious mind governs a significant portion of human behavior. While we consciously process only a fraction of daily information, the subconscious handles millions of signals, including emotional reactions, body language interpretations, pattern recognition, impulse responses. Psychologist Sigmund Freud first introduced the concept of the unconscious as a powerful driver of behavior. Modern neuroscience confirms that much of what we feel and do is influenced by subconscious processing. For example, we often make snap judgments about people in milliseconds, long before conscious reasoning takes over. Instincts and evolutionary drives. Many human behaviors are rooted in evolutionary psychology. Our ancestors developed instinct for survival and reproduction, which persist today in subtler forms. Fight or flight response. The brain reacts to perceived threats with rapid, automatic responses. Social hierarchy sensitivity. Humans are wired to detect dominance, status, and alliances. Kinship and tribal bonds. Strong loyalty to family and in-group members enhances survival. Mate selection and attraction. Subconscious cues, such as symmetry and health indicators, influence mate choices. Recognizing these evolutionary drivers helps explain why humans often act in ways that seem irrational but are biologically grounded. Motivation beyond survival. While survival instincts shaped early humans, modern behavior is also driven by psychological needs. Psychologist Abraham Maslow described a hierarchy of needs, showing that behavior progresses through levels. 1. Physiological needs: food, water, rest, and health. 2. Safety and security: protection from harm and stability. 3. Love and belonging: relationships, friendships, and social connections. 4. Esteem, recognition, achievement, and respect. 5. Self-actualization: fulfillment, purpose, and personal growth. Maslow's model explains why humans are motivated by more than mere survival. They seek connection, meaning, and mastery. Understanding these needs allows us to interpret behavior more accurately and communicate more effectively. Emotions as behavior drivers. Emotions are powerful guides of human action. Neuroscientist Antonio Damasio demonstrated that decision-making is heavily influenced by emotions, even in situations requiring logic. For instance, fear triggers avoidance and caution. Joy encourages exploration and risk-taking. Anger motivates assertiveness and defense. Empathy fosters cooperation and bonding. Emotions are not irrational. They are evolutionary tools that guide choices efficiently. Mastering social intelligence involves recognizing emotional cues in others and regulating one's own responses. Unconscious biases. Unconscious biases are hidden preferences that shape perception and behavior. Common biases include in-group favoritism, preferring people who resemble oneself. Confirmation bias, seeking evidence that aligns with prior beliefs. Halo effect, allowing one positive trait to influence overall judgment. Awareness of these biases is crucial for ethical persuasion and accurate social understanding. They operate silently, influencing judgments and decisions without our awareness. Practical application, observing hidden drivers. To harness knowledge of hidden drivers. 1. Observe patterns. Watch behavior across contexts to detect recurring motivations. 2. Listen actively. Words, tone, and pacing reveal unspoken needs. 3. Recognize emotional triggers. Identify what sparks joy, fear, or anger. 4. Respect biases. Mitigate your own biases and anticipate others' tendencies. 5. Adapt communication. Frame messages to align with core psychological needs. By integrating observation, empathy, and analysis, we can navigate human behavior more effectively, creating deeper connections and influencing ethically. Storytelling. Understanding hidden motivations. Consider the story of a community, leader mediating a conflict. By observing body language, listening to unspoken concerns, and addressing underlying emotional needs, the leader resolves disputes without confrontation. This approach works because it taps into hidden drivers: fear, desire for belonging, and need for respect. Stories like this illustrate that human behavior is rarely random. It is guided by patterns that, once understood, allow communication to become more insightful and impactful. Research spotlight neuroscience of motivation. Functional MRI studies show that the brain's reward system, particularly the nucleus accumbens, activates when people anticipate rewards, monetary, social, or emotional. This neurological insight explains why incentives, recognition, and praise profoundly influence behavior. Understanding these biological mechanisms is not about manipulation, it is about alignment. By aligning communication and leadership strategies with intrinsic human drivers, we can inspire genuine engagement and collaboration. Integrating chapter insights. Chapters 1 through 4 are provided a comprehensive view. Chapter 1, Foundations of Social Intelligence. Chapter 2, Emotional Awareness and Interpersonal Skills. Chapter 3, Influence, Persuasion, and Ethical Communication. Chapter 4, Hidden Drivers of Behavior, Motivations, and Biases. The integration of these insights equips anyone with a roadmap to master social dynamics, both for personal growth and professional excellence. In the final chapter, we will explore strategies to master social intelligence in daily life, combining theory, neuroscience, and practical application for lasting impact. This is a storyteller, and your journey into psychology of human behavior and social mastery continues. Chapter 5, Mastering Social Intelligence in Everyday Life. In this final chapter of our journey through psychology of human behavior and social intelligence, we are going to combine all the insights from the previous chapters into practical strategies that you can use every day. Social intelligence is not just a concept. It is a skill, and like any skill, it can be developed, practiced, and refined. It is the art of understanding people, navigating social dynamics, and influencing outcomes ethically and effectively. By mastering social intelligence, you gain the ability to connect deeply, communicate clearly, and lead gracefully. Self-awareness, the first step. The foundation of social intelligence is self-awareness. You cannot understand others until you understand yourself. Ask yourself these questions daily. What are my emotional triggers? How do my biases affect my perception of others? How do my words and actions influence those around me? Research from psychologist Daniel Goleman, who popularized emotional intelligence, shows that self-aware individuals are better at managing relationships, reducing conflicts, and achieving personal and professional success. Practical tip: keep a daily journal. Note your emotional reactions, interactions, and insights. Over time, patterns emerge, revealing areas for growth. Empathy, feeling beyond words. Empathy is the ability to understand and share the feelings of others. But true empathy goes beyond listening. It is about connecting emotionally and cognitively. Neuroscientists have discovered mirror neurons, which fire both when we perform an action and when we observe someone else performing the same action. This biological mechanism explains why humans can intuitively sense the emotions of others. Practical ways to build empathy. 1. Active listening. Focus fully on the speaker, avoiding internal judgments. 2. Reflective responses. Repeat or paraphrase to show understanding. 3. Nonverbal awareness. Observe body language, tone, and microexpressions. 4. Perspective-taking exercises. Imagine yourself in someone else's shoes. Empathy allows you to navigate social situations gracefully, resolve conflicts, and create meaningful connections. Communication mastery. Effective communication is the bridge between understanding and influence. Social intelligence transforms communication from mere words into an art form. Key principles for mastery. Clarity and simplicity. Avoid jargon. Speak with intention. Storytelling. Humans are wired to respond to narratives. A story can inspire, teach, and connect. Tone and pace. Slow, measured speech conveys confidence and thoughtfulness. Adaptability. Tailor your message to your audience's needs and context. Example: consider a manager addressing a team. Instead of giving a dry instruction, she tells a story about overcoming a challenge, highlights key lessons, and invites team input. The result is engagement, understanding, and motivation, building influence and trust. Influence is a natural outcome of social intelligence, but it must be grounded in trust. People follow those who are credible, empathetic, and consistent. Robert Cialdini's 6 principles of influence remain powerful tools. 1. Reciprocity. Give before you ask. 2. Commitment and consistency. Align actions with words. 3. Social proof. Show that others trust and follow your approach. 4. Authority. Demonstrate expertise ethically. 5. Liking. Build genuine rapport. 6. Scarcity. Highlight unique opportunities or insights. However, influence without integrity erodes relationships. Mastery comes from using these principles responsibly to empower others, not manipulate them. Reading social cues. Mastering social intelligence means observing subtle social signals. Microexpressions. Fleeting facial expressions that reveal true emotions. Tone variations. Changes in pitch or cadence reveal mood or intent. Posture and gestures indicate confidence, openness, or discomfort. A simple exercise. In a casual conversation, notice how the other person leans, gestures, and pauses. These cues provide insight into their emotions and intentions, allowing you to respond appropriately. Conflict resolution. Conflict is inevitable in social interactions. Social intelligence transforms conflicts into opportunities for understanding and growth. Strategies. 1. Stay calm. Manage your emotional response. 2. Listen first. Understand before reacting. 3. Seek common ground. Focus on shared goals and values. 4. Communicate clearly. Express needs without blame. 5. Agree on action. Establish mutually acceptable solutions. Example: 2 colleagues disagree on a project approach. By listening actively, acknowledging concerns, and suggesting a hybrid solution, they not only resolve the conflict, but strengthen their working relationship. Daily practices for mastery. To cultivate social intelligence daily. Mindful observation. Watch interactions without judgment. Practice gratitude. Express appreciation to strengthen bonds. Learn continuously. Read psychology, sociology, and behavioral science. Seek feedback. Constructive criticism enhances self-awareness. Reflect and adjust. Regularly evaluate your interactions and outcomes. Even small, consistent efforts compound over time, transforming social skills into an intuitive, powerful force. Real-life examples. Consider the story of a successful entrepreneur. She attributes her achievements not solely to technical skill, but to her ability to read people, understand needs, and build meaningful relationships. By applying empathy, communication mastery, and ethical influence, she navigated challenges, built trust, and inspired teams. Or think of a teacher who struggles to engage students. By observing body language, adapting communication style, and using storytelling, the teacher transforms a classroom into a space of connection and active learning. These examples show that social intelligence is practical, actionable, and transformative. Scientific insights. Research consistently supports the importance of social intelligence. Studies show that individuals with high social intelligence have better career outcomes, stronger relationships, and greater life satisfaction. Brain imaging reveals that social interactions activate the prefrontal cortex, responsible for decision-making, empathy, and problem-solving. Behavioral experiments confirm that active listening, perspective-taking, and emotional regulation improve collaboration and influence. The science is clear. Social intelligence is not optional. It is essential, integrating the 5 chapters. Let's recap the journey. 1. Foundations of social intelligence. Understanding self and others. 2. Emotional awareness. Recognizing, managing, and leveraging emotions. 3. Influence and ethical persuasion. Guiding interactions with integrity. 4. Hidden drivers of behavior. Understanding subconscious motivations. 5. Everyday mastery. Applying principles to daily life for connection, influence, and growth. By integrating theory, neuroscience, and practical strategies, you now have a roadmap to master the art of human interaction. As we conclude this journey, remember that social intelligence is not about perfection. It's about curiosity, empathy, and continuous improvement. Every interaction is an opportunity to learn, connect, and grow. This is the storyteller, reminding you that understanding human behavior is a lifelong adventure. Master it, and you unlock doors to personal, professional, and social fulfillment.